Ford CEO on how tariffs could impact vehicle pricing. In recent interviews and investor calls, Ford CEO Jim Farley has been sounding very alarming, and for good reason. Tariffs are back in the headlines. This time, it's not just about steel or solar panel, it's about cars and more specifically, electric vehicles. The US is seriously considering raising tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, and it's not just political posturing. Behind the scenes, there is a growing concern that China's EV manufacturers are flooding global markets with ultra cheap, heavily subsidized vehicles. The fear that American companies are simply cannot compete on price without losing their shirts. Farley didn't mince words. He said, and I quote, "The real competition is going to be the Chinese. If we can't compete with the Chinese in our own market, then what are we even doing?" That's a bold statement and a painful one because it exposes the elephant in the room: cost. Let's break it down. Chinese EVs, like those made by BYD, NIO, and Xpeng, are being produced at shockingly low costs, in part because of government subsidies, cheap labor, and a vertically integrated supply chain that the West simply hasn't matched it. A fully functional, high range EV from China can sell for under $15,000 in their domestic market. Meanwhile, in the US, even budget models from Ford or GM can't realistically be sold for under $30,000 without losing money. So, what happens if those Chinese EVs come to American stores? Two things. One, the consumer benefits from cheaper options, but two, American automakers could get wiped out in price wars they are not equipped to win. This is where tariff comes in. Tariffs are a form of protection. They are a wall, an economic defense mechanism. If the US imposes a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs, it doubles their cost when they land in the US market. That makes them less competitive compared to domestic vehicles. But tariffs have consequences. As Farley pointed out, if tariffs are applied too broadly or unpredictably, cost will go up across the board. Raw materials, car parts, and even battery components, many of which still come from China, will become more expensive. That means American vehicles, even if built in the US, will also become costlier. The customer ends up paying more even if they never buy a Chinese EV. It's not just a Ford problem. Tesla, GM, Stellantis, they are all caught up in the same global supply chain. Everyone is sourcing lithium, cobalt, and nickel from a handful of countries. Most of the refining and battery cell production, you guessed it, China. So, when tariffs are introduced, they might protect certain jobs or brands in the short term, but they also slow down innovation, increase prices, and could delay the EV transition in the US. Farley is basically saying this: if we want to protect American car companies, we can't just rely on tariffs. We need to get serious about cost reduction, faster innovation, and better production design. Instead of just blocking Chinese EVs, Ford wants to compete with them head on. Make cars that are just as affordable but with American engineering, safety standards, and services. Sounds ideal, but the road there is rough. To be fair, China has a decade long head start. The West focused on luxury EVs, Tesla's $60,000 sedans. China focused on mass market mobility, 10,000 hatchbacks. And here we are. So, what's the future? More tariffs? Probably, but also a push from American CEOs like Farley to rethink manufacturing, supply chains, and even dealership models. If Ford can actually bring out a reliable $25,000 EV that people want to buy, it changes the game. But if it can't, and if tariff becomes the only defense, then American automakers are in trouble. In the end, the battle isn't just about cars, it's about the strategy. What do you think?